The Australian Defence Force Academy is where the youth of Australia are taught to defend their country by fighting and, if necessarily, killing the enemy. So it's not surprising that the culture's hardly that of a vicarage tea party. But nobody knew just how corrosive it was. The report by Andrew Kirkham listed 775 instances of abuse and violence, many of which would be criminal offences if carried out in civilian life. And yet the newspapers weren't interested in this aspect. What they wanted to do was get stuck into the Defence Minister Stephen Smith. That's where the real trouble lies. And it goes back to one of the incidences catalogued when a cadet named Kate, for the purposes of the story, rather unwisely agreed to have sex with one of her fellow cadets. And this gallant Lothario filmed it, put it on Skype, distributed it among his mates for their delectation, and gloated about it. Unsurprisingly, Kate complained, and eventually one of the people involved was expelled from the academy. But Kate was blamed for disloyalty, and when Stephen Smith, the Defence Minister, heard about it, he took her side. He said that the commandant of the academy, a bloke called Bruce Kafer, had handled it insensitively, possibly illegally, and he wanted it to be corrected, and Kafer was stood down for the duration. In the meantime, Kate left the academy and went under medical treatment. But now we have the report on this incident, which at first glance seems to exonerate Kafer. Kafer, it said, disobeyed no military or civilian laws. Well, maybe he didn't, but that doesn't make his model sensitive or good or anyway approvable. And Smith refused to take back what he'd said earlier, that the affair had been handled badly and that he wanted to see better in future. Well, you would have thought that was okay, but among the heavies of the press and their military connections, it was regarded as something close to treason. They demanded that Smith should apologise to Kafer, which he didn't, and some even insisted that he should resign as Minister for Defence. An absurdity. So let's get this right. The Kirkham report did exonerate Kafer in a technical sense, but he censured him severely on the way through, saying he should have handled things differently and better. And it said it could find no instances of Kate being persecuted during her time at the academy, but it should be remembered that it took no evidence from Kate. Kate was in no condition to give it. So that can be taken with a grain of salt too. And as for Smith's behaviour, well, we live in a democracy. This is a place where the civil authority takes precedence over the military. We're not a dictatorship. The mere idea that the military should set its own standards and that they should be adhered to ahead of those provided by the elected politicians, and in particular by the responsible minister, is derisory, and the media should be excoriated for picking it up. The idea must be nipped in the bud immediately. It's illegal, it's dangerous. And I'm Mungo MacCallum.